You know, I once had a boss who loved the word very. Every email was very important, very urgent, or very necessary. Pretty soon, very stopped meaning, well, anything. It was like adding hot sauce to every meal. At some point, you can't taste the food anymore. And in English, very is often a crutch. It's easy. It works in a pinch, but it rarely impresses. Just like a bow tie. The right word choice can sharpen your look or your language instantly. So while I finish monkeying with this bow tie, think about the last time you used very. Could you have picked a stronger word instead? Something like crucial instead of very important, or exhausted instead of very tired. Stick around, because today I'm going to give you some easy swaps for very that will make your English sharper, more confident, and a lot more memorable. And as usual, you want to stick around to the end where we go through the Mastery Minute. And we're going to dive into a word that replaces very and has been around for a few centuries. And if you've got questions, be sure to drop them in the chat, and I'll answer a few live after the show. So let's dive right in. Let's go. So I want you to meet Laura. She is a marketing lead at a global company, and her English was good, but her reports kept getting marked up by her manager. Why? Well, because she used very everywhere. Very big challenge, very small budget, very important goal. The feedback she got was, find stronger words. Serious. So I worked with her on replacing very with more precise, powerful vocabulary. Very big challenge became major challenge. Very small budget became tiny budget. Very important goal became critical goal. And within a few moments, within a month, her writing started to really stand out. And her manager said, I'm going to start sending these reports to the executive team as examples of clear communication. That is the difference that the right word can make. So today, let's talk about why very actually weakens your message and how to replace it with words that will make your English pop. Let's go. So here's the truth. Very is like a highlighter. If you use it sparingly, a little bit, it draws attention. But if you use it all the time, people actually stop noticing. And the problem is, very often doubles up on meaning instead of actually sharpening your message. So we're going to take a look at a few quick swaps that will make your English instantly more expressive. Are you ready to go? All right, let's go. The first one, we've already mentioned a little bit, very important to critical or crucial. For example, instead of saying, this meeting is very important, say, this meeting is crucial. Yeah, picture yourself leading a project kickoff, and you want everyone to understand that their presence is essential. It's not optional. So saying that this meeting is crucial immediately signals weight and consequence. it feels like something you must be a part of. And now you could also say critical, like when you're discussing deadlines, as in meeting, excuse me, meeting this deadline or meeting this milestone is critical to the project's success, or this information is critical. So why does this work like this? When you use critical or crucial, you are conveying urgency without the extra fluff, and you're giving your listener a clear sense of the importance of the action. Action is, or attention is needed right now. So there you go. Critical, crucial. Great words to replace very important. Next up. Oh, I'm very tired. Very tired. Example. I'm very tired after that long flight. Well, that's a little tired. I mean, very tired, what does that mean? Instead, try this. Try, I'm very exhausted, or I'm exhausted. You're not just telling the facts. You're sharing that you're exhausted. Compare those two. The first one, I'm tired, is just like bleh, it's just the facts. But the second one is more like watching a scene in a movie. You can almost feel the heavy luggage straps digging into your shoulders, your feet dragging, your eyes half shut. You know, very tired, it just tells the facts. Exhausted makes your audience and you experience it. You could also say something like, if you're in an office, wow, after 3 back-to-back meetings today, I was absolutely exhausted, which instantly shows a day that pushed you to your limits. The contrast makes the difference clear. One is bland, the other is vivid. It paints a relatable sensory picture, letting other people feel the heaviness of your fatigue and understand it's far more than just ordinary tiredness. It's not like you just need a nap and you'll feel better. Next up, very small. And we're going to talk about a couple here. Instead of very small, try a tiny or minuscule. Like, we're working with a tiny budget this quarter. Compare that to, we're working with a very small budget. Okay? Tiny versus very small. The latter tells the facts. Or, excuse me, the former tells the facts. That's the very small. It's the fact. But tiny makes it something that you can visualize. Think of a little wallet with only a couple of coins inside. Or a project team counting every paperclip to make the budget stretch. So another one you can use is minuscule. This is really good for formal writing. Minuscule. So instead of saying something like the chances of success are very small, you say the chances of success are minuscule. It really helps you see. Minuscule, you envision like microscopes and scientists going, whoa, that's a really tiny thing. So you can kind of visualize that and contrast. That sharper word adds on personality, imagery, in even a little emotion. Because if something is minuscule, especially your budget, that can add a little pressure to your life. So it paints a picture for the scale of limitation for your audience, rather than just hearing very small. All right, we're moving right along. Next is very good. I hear this one all the time. Very good. Oh, how are you? I'm very good today. And even I do it sometimes. It's easy to say. So you might say, she gave a very good presentation. Well, compare that to, she gave an excellent presentation. The first one, it may be true, it was very good, but that's forgettable. But excellent makes you picture the conference room where every slide is clear, the timing is perfect, and the audience is nodding along. You might also say outstanding, like the proposal you wrote was outstanding. It covered every detail we needed. This is how you bring praise from just blah to, when I say blah, I mean like generic, to something more exciting. It's more specific. It's more vivid. It makes your feedback more sincere and more memorable. You'll really help people to feel better when you talk about them with these words instead of just saying very good. So, and our last one today, we're going to go with very scared. My kids say this all the time. Like when we watched E.T. the other day, my daughter said, "Oh, very scared. It's a scary movie." It wasn't that scary, but, little kids. So, for example, you might say someone is very scared of public speaking. Well, instead of that, you could say he's terrified of public speaking. So, that one actually drops you right into the scene. When you think of terrified, you can imagine the sweaty palms, the racing heartbeat, and a blank mind as he steps up to the microphone. Very scared tells you the fact, but terrified makes you feel fear in your gut. You might also say she was terrified before her first live TV interview, which adds context and stakes. My daughter was terrified by the government people in the movie E.T. It was terrifying. So, terrified shows a contrast by carrying a strong emotional weight, and it pulls in the listener into the experience instead of just describing it. Got it? All right. So here's a quick tip. If you catch yourself saying very a lot or even a little, ask yourself, what's the single sharper word that I could use here? It's like trading in a rusty pocket knife for a laser cutter. It gets you sharper. And I know these are only 5 examples that I gave. Okay? Only a few examples to give you some idea that, yes, very can replace several other words. There are actually hundreds of stronger choices out there for you to find. And so if you want to find more, you should get a thesaurus app or talk to your favorite AI, ChatGPT, or Claude, or what's the other one? I forget. I'm just drawing a blank. Whatever. Find your favorite AI and ask them, is there a better way to say very happy? And it'll tell you, yes, say ecstatic. Okay? There you go. You can write down, keep a little notebook, and then also read articles, read things, and pay attention to how skilled writers and speakers phrase things. And then note down in your little notebook any words that are impactful to you so that you can try to use them later on. Okay? All right. That's exciting stuff. Now, your challenge for this week. Pick 3 phrases that you often say very with, and then try to replace them with stronger words. Use them in emails and meetings or casual chats, and then come back and tell me in the comments how people reacted. I love to get comments. I always reply to comments. So that's that. Excuse me. And I got the little frog in my throat today. And if you want to improve your English without boring drills and grammar and memorizing vocabulary, then check out my course, Mastering English for Busy Professionals. Just 10 minutes a day to train your brain to think and your mouth to speak naturally in English. The link is in the description or in the comments or chat. And remember, speaking of the chat, drop your questions in the chat, because right now is time for the Mastery Minute, and I'll answer a few right after that. So remember, I said that we're not doing an idiom today. Today is a little different. Today is a word, the word of the day. And today's word is utterly. Utterly. You're saying, what? Today's word is utterly. And what it means is completely or absolutely. And it's a great alternative to very when you want to add emphasis. So, for example, instead of saying, I'm very surprised. Oh, well, let's just go through the history there. The fun fact, it actually comes from Old English, not even Middle English, Old English, utera, meaning outer or complete. And it has been used for over 800 years in English. It's the kind of word that when you use it in the right spot can actually give your sentence an extra punch. So you might say, instead of saying, I'm very surprised, you could say, I'm utterly surprised. Compare the two. Very surprised states a fact, but utterly surprised makes you imagine someone's jaw dropping, eyes widening, even maybe a stunned silence before they respond. It sounds stronger and a bit more formal. So the next time you are tempted to write very, maybe try utterly when it fits, whether it's utterly convinced, utterly hopeless, or utterly brilliant. Just don't overuse it. Like all strong words, it works best in moderation. So some other examples, that movie was utterly amazing. If you loved the movie a lot. We were utterly shocked by the news. Or the plan was utterly flawless until the last minute. Oh, man, that's just horrible. So if you try this out, give it a shot, and you might find it to be useful. And if you've got a favorite way to swap out very, be sure to drop that in the chat too. I'd love to hear it. And now that is it for episode 52. Today you learned why very can weaken your message and how to replace it with sharper, more impactful words, plus the history and usage of utterly. Next time we're going to talk about powerful alternatives to saying, I'm leaving. Really? There's alternatives to saying I'm leaving? So you can express your departure in ways that are more natural, nuanced, and suited to different situations. You're going to love this one because it works in casual chats all the way to professional goodbyes. And if you enjoyed this, give us a like. Hit the subscribe button and share this with a friend who's also on their English journey. They want to master English just like you. And let's keep growing together, one strong word at a time. I can't wait to see you on Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Korea Standard Time for another fun and useful, hopefully, episode. I'll see you then.